And for those 2 hours, list your butt off. You could take 8 hours to list what you could list in those 2 hours if you wanted to, and call it, I worked all day.
The Crazy Picker Life with Wheeler, Dealer, and Banana Peeler.
Good afternoon, fellow pickers and would-be adventurers. Dealer here with the laid-back Sunday edition of the Crazy Picker Life. Sunday's my fun day. Sunday's my off business day. Sunday I spend time with my family. Today will be no different. We're not doing anything that's going to be super video worthy. No traveling today. Kind of a down weather day outside. There's wind, and I guess we're going to get some rain. I don't think we're going to get any big storms, but it's not much of an outside day. I was thinking of doing some outside sports things with the boys, and maybe even ask Kate to go play some tennis. I may still, but for the most part it's going to be relaxing. And Packer party. We got the Green Bay Packers at home against I've got the whole gear on here, against the Indianapolis Colts. And so this area here will be Packer party central here. We might get Wheeler to cook us up a Coffee Ninja coffee concoction. The fridge is stocked with beverages of all kinds for the crew. I bought some healthy. It's really amazing. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, my family was transitioning, even 30 years ago, into health food. And some of the stuff that was available back then that was called health food, man, you wouldn't want to eat it. Now, although you have to pay up for healthy foods, some of that stuff is not bad, because really what you're getting is you're getting the real flavors, not all these artificial flavors. You're getting a little bit less processed food, not, like this goo they squeeze out for your pizza and then they throw a bunch of artificial shit on there. The pizzas I got are called healthy, and when you read it, it's because it's real food. You got to pay up for real food these days. So I got some healthy pizzas from Whole Foods. We're going to have those and whatever else I come up with, so that'll be fun. I'll probably take a little video snap of the crew later when they come in. I'm in here a few hours before game time, making sure that the office is safe for all ages. When my little guys are crawling around here, I've got to make sure that they're not going to get hurt on my wiring and projects and signs and all that kind of stuff. We did bring some new things into the office yesterday, as usual. We bring a lot of things in, and I got to make sure to bring a lot of things out. Otherwise, we end up like hoarders. Okay, so typically on Sundays, I will record a business subject unless we're traveling or doing something that's real fun and video worthy, which probably won't happen too much until we're going to have some sort of a vacation. I'm trying to get myself squared here. My Schlitz corner. Oh, no, that ain't it. That ain't bad. Some sort of a family vacation at the end of the year, picking family vacation. And, of course, next summer we plan to go a bunch. And I'm going to keep throwing it out there. I'm threatening it to my family as much as I am to myself. And I'm mentioning it to everybody else. We're going to shut everything down, and we're going to go 6 weeks next fall. 6 weeks relaxing family, picking a little bit. We haven't done that in a long time. I'll talk more about that sometime. Just a complete, change of pace, slow down, shut down, meandering. Of course, you're going to do some picking. I mean, that's just how it is. It's a picking trip, but everything else is going to just be slow down for a good period of time, and a lot of family time, and that's important. I mean, when else are you going to do that? A lot of people say, well, when I retire, but that's too late. You got to do it. You got to figure out a way to do it now. So that is part of what we're going to talk about today. I haven't mastered this subject, but I've thought about it a lot, and over time I've applied many of the principles and ideas, and you can too. So I originally was going to talk a little bit about our idea of a picker hub. Pickers buying for other pickers, pickers unloading their unwanted inventory, pickers looking for certain things, being able to buy lots of certain things that they do. I will talk about that. We're still developing that idea. Another thing I was going to talk about were, excuses. What excuses are holding you back from being successful in your business? What excuses have held me back, Wheeler back, other people I know? Another time. But Wheeler comes in today, and he's like, man, I've got all this photographic equipment. I'm trying to figure out something to go take pictures of today. And I'm like, well, you got manuals and watches and cameras in your office. Can't you take some pictures of those? And I was joking because it's Sunday. We don't work on Sunday. But he's like, no, I mean outside of the office. I'm like, oh, fun stuff, And he's like, well, action stuff, sports or something like that. And I'm like, well, there's not too much going on today. But what you got to do is you got to look in our local paper and get tapped into when and where those things happen. He's like, oh, yeah. Haven't done that. And then, it dawned on me, if you do what you should be doing when you should be doing it, you can do what you want to do when you want to do it. I don't know if I got that right. That sounds a little Dr. Zeusy. But really, it comes down to this. If Wheeler takes care of his homework, which is reasonably flexible, maybe too flexible for him, if he takes care of his work with our business and what he needs to do in his office, and takes care of, obviously simple things or daily things like eating, sleeping, and all those type of things, if he wants to go attend sports events and start becoming a sports photographer, which he's mentioned, we've got college teams here, we've got high school teams here. We're close enough to Denver. We're close enough to other rodeo and different events. If he wants to do that and he takes care of the things he's supposed to take care of, he'll be able to do those things that he wants to do. He needs to plan for them. He needs to identify when and where they are, and then get his other stuff done around that. Get his other stuff done ahead of time. If he gets his school done, his mom and I will be happy, and he'll be happy because he's going to graduate next April or May. And then, then the sky's the limit. If he gets his driver's test taken, which he's been procrastinating on a bit, I'm buying him a car. I owe him one. He'll be able to extend his range. He'll be able to, get out and take in some of these things in our local communities if he wants to. He's got the photo equipment. He's got most of the knowledge. He just needs to start applying it. And if he takes care of his business with our business, working with me and doing the things he's supposed to do in his office, there'll be plenty of money to fund whatever he wants to do. So he's like, yeah. You know, Wheeler is a great kid. So we all were green once, and I'll tell you what, Wheeler's got some of the biggest dreams, most enthusiasm, good attitude for a lot of things. However, you could watch this video and maybe learn something. I don't know if I'm going to be able to give it all out where it's going to make a lot of sense, but really, first, step one, what do you want to do? Okay? I would suggest getting out paper and pencil and writing this down. Title it, What Do I Want to Do? Underline. And then, I don't know, however long it takes. I'm not an expert. I'm not completely rigid on this. But 15, 20 minutes, sit in a quiet place, have some background music, do whatever you got to do, have your coffee. Which reminds me, I was going to have a Guru natural energy drink. I think I'm pumped up enough. I think I'll pass on it. Good decision. So 15, 20 minutes, quiet, whatever kind of background you need. Probably not while you're driving. Probably not while the kids are yelling. Probably not while it's, TV time. Write answers to that question. Do not worry about getting the right answer. Do not worry about limiting yourself. What do I want to do? Go hog wild. Brainstorm. Throw it down there. 100 things, fine. One thing, fine. Get it out. Get it out of here and on the paper. Okay? What do you want to do? Now, for me, I had ideas when I was younger, like in my, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20-year-old range. I always had ideas what I wanted to do, but it usually was more short-term things like chase girls, have fun. I did like sports, go to the mall when I was younger and play video games. There was not much long-term planning. When I hit my 20s, that slowly and surely got beat out of me, and I started to think more what would be fulfilling in life, including, work and relationships, marriage, kids, career, business. Where do I want to vacation? Where do I want to live? What kind of house do I want to have? I mean, all those things started to solidify. And then, along comes Wheeler, my firstborn, and Kate, my secondborn. Bing, bang, bam, right after I was married to Lon. And everything starts changing. All those things that you started to think of were important start changing. And, you can fight it, and a lot of people do, but if family is not right up there in importance, you get a lot of friction, and your family won't last. And so I didn't get much time to think of that until Banana Peeler came along, and then Benjamin, and then, got a little bit of pause, but boy, my vehicles were full. My fridge was full. My house was full. My life was full. Oh. So, what do you want to do? For me, I started to create the lifestyle for my family that I wanted. And I included Lon in these thoughts. And of course, when you include somebody else in your thoughts, there has to be compromise. And you shouldn't worry about compromise right now when you're writing your brainstorming, when you're making your list. But when you start to hone down your list, what do you want to do? I mean, you do have to make some compromises if you want to maintain relationships. So, for example, I have always wanted to buy an RV of some kind and either live part-time on the road, which by part-time I mean maybe going out for a month and coming back, going out for a month and coming back, going out for 3 months and coming back, or full-time on the road. My wife Lon does not want to do that. We've had some long vacations. We've had some fun vacations, but they've always been vacations. We always come back to real life. Well, I want to take real life on the road and make that real life, right? So we've had to compromise on that one. Now, does that mean I still don't want to do it? Well, some days I really want to do it, and other days I'm just satisfied with my ability to go out 30, 40, 50 days out of the year, including some longer stretches. Back in the early part of the 2000s, 2001, and again probably in 2003, somewhere in there, maybe 2005, I did get a chance with my family to go on first like a 2 or 3 week, and then we're like, well, it cost about the same to go for a month, and then I think we did another month, and we just planned and figured out how to go away for a month. And that almost felt like I was out there and wasn't coming back. There was a period in that month where you're no longer going on vacation and transitioning into that. You've hit the point of temporarily forgetting whatever else is going on in your life, and you get to relax, and then you get that for a couple of weeks, and then your mind's like, well, I'm starting to gear up to get back to the real world, right? So a month is about long enough to get like 2 weeks where you feel like, I got nothing going on. This is awesome. Now, if I went on the road full time, obviously, there would be the grind in there again, because you'd have to support yourself. It's not vacation mode. But, you can change the scenery. You can change your picking locations. You can show your family all the places you've traveled when you were younger. You can discover new places. You can see the sunrise in 20 different directions. So the dream is still there. These are the things you need to put on your list, because if you do not put what do you want to do on your list, you will not start working on those. It will be an idea in your head someday, somehow, but it's not on paper. Once it's on paper, you can start looking at it. You can start planning it out. Sometimes you'll find out you really don't want to do that. Sometimes you do. Now, it doesn't have to be as big an idea as I want to live on the road. I want to get a big RV and go on the road with my 6 kids and my wife, 8 people. It doesn't have to be like that. It could be on Tuesdays, I want to walk 15 minutes down to the local coffee place, sit and have a coffee, watch people, do nothing for 20 minutes, and walk back. And for a while, you've been thinking about doing that, and you still don't do it. Why not? I don't know why not. Maybe you have a job and you can't do that. So maybe you need to get up earlier and do that before your job. And then while you're doing that, you can start thinking about how to go from part-time to full-time in your eBay business or your picking business if you want. It's your list. Make your list. Turn off this video. Pause this video. Make your list now. Make your list now. Make your list. Have you made your list? Pause the video. Make your list. Pause it. Okay, I'm assuming you're back and you've paused it and you've made your list, right? Okay. Now, everything that's on that list should be something that you want to either do or explore on how to do. And there are things that are holding you back, right? Time and money, people in your life. Maybe you're scared. Maybe you don't really want to do them. Maybe that's something that seems outrageous or is just too far-fetched. Well, typically there's a few things that are holding you back from doing those things on your list. But we could summarize it like this. You're not doing what you should be doing when you should be doing it. Couple quick stories. My grandfather always promised that he would build a cabin in the woods up north. And that was a good one for us kids. We kind of liked that. We liked camping with our family. And I think it wasn't until I was older, I didn't even get to see the land. There was, and I think there still is, land up north. I think my grandma still owns it. I thought about buying it from them. I thought about pressing that issue. It is nice up there. I don't live in the state anymore. It's up in Phillips County, Wisconsin. Quiet up there. Sandy roads, sand up there. Cold as get out in the winter. My great-grandfather had a cabin up there and lived up there for the last, I don't know, 10, 15, 20, 30 years of his life till his wife died, my great-grandmother, and then he came back and lived in our town. He ended up dying at 95 or 96. It's nice up there. So that was what my grandfather wanted to do. He was a carpenter. Could he have made the cabin? Of course he could. He was wrapped up in the rat race. Boy, he was a hard worker. And towards the end of his life, in his mid to late 50s, arthritis, and his body was just giving up. World War II veteran, tough guy. Used to nail flooring with 2 hammers, 1 in each hand, run up and down a ladder with stuff. Oh my goodness, that guy was athletic and just didn't understand nutrition, wore his body out. Last 20 years of his life, really messed up. Body just couldn't do much. Waited too long. Didn't write it down, didn't figure it out. Needed to do it earlier, right? My dad had a lot of the same ideas, lots of things he wanted to do, just never put the rubber to the road. It's easy to talk. It's easy to say, I want to do this. I've been telling my kids for years, Wheeler and Kate have distant memories when they were 2, 3, 4, and 5 of going to the ocean, playing in the surf, going out on little islands 20 feet out when the surf goes out and then the surf starts coming in, beach toys, nice weather. They have memories of that, but we haven't been back. All the other kids hear me, we need to go back to the Charleston area, South Carolina, off season when there's nobody on the beaches and you have it all to yourself. It's so wonderful. And so I spin this tale. Well, we're going to do it this next year. I'm going to find a way. We've been there 10 times. We've been there with the kids when they were, and Banana Peeler was like a little goober maybe once, and I think he was in Lon's belly one time we went there. So, I've got my list made, right? So what is holding you back? Okay, time and money. Time is funny. Everybody has the same amount, okay? Everybody has the same amount. There's no time stretchers unless you launch into space on a very expensive rocket and go the wrong way on the rotation of the Earth. I guess you can gain a few hours or whatever, right? Might skip some time zones or something. I don't think there's time machines. Nothing significant. Watch The Fly. I think that guy was trying to do time and teleportation. Don't get in there with the fly. Can have bad results. The bottom line is everybody more or less has the same 24 hours, and look around. Some people do more valuable things with their time than other people. Maybe the best way to go about it is keep a short and easy diary. Where are you spending your time? Doing what? A lot of people won't do this. You can do it in your mind. You can think through, what did I do last week? But for most of you, most people I've talked about, what did you do last week? They'll say, oh, same old, same old. Okay. Or, they'll say, I worked really hard. Or they'll say, I didn't get anything done. Or they'll say, I went to work 9 to 5, do the routine, blah, blah, blah. But the point is, until you really examine what you're doing with your time, you're not going to know. It's going to be a bit of an eye-opener, and most of the eye-opener you already know. You just need to face it. Okay? Do I watch TV? Yes. Does TV run my life? No. But some of you might. Some people might. Some people are watching that all day long. And that's just one example of what could be robbing your time. So it's not just your time, though, because you can be doing something of value, some value with your time, but it's still not enough, okay? Personally, if I get right down to it, I can list 3 to, let's say, 6 or 7 good items an hour. And I give you that range because some of my items, you cannot list them in 5 minutes, okay? I mean, I've got like this big crazy boat model in my office right now that's still all over my office that I have to put back in the box up, and, pack up. But that's not a 5-minute listing. I know there are people out there, including some of you watching, that can list 20 items an hour, but they have to be the right items, okay? So some items take longer. I have items sometimes that I can put on Amazon, or multiple items. I can list a bunch too. But if I give you a range of I can list 3 to 8 items an hour, I can also come in here and I can list 0 to, let's say, 1 or 2 an hour with the same hour. Now, am I saying come into your office, go into your office and rack your brain, drink 6 coffees, poke a needle in your arm to keep yourself awake, or put an electrocution device on you or something, and prop your eyelids open and, lift 10 an hour for the next 10 hours, for the next 10 days? No. But as an example, if you have 2 hours a day to list, it's not going to kill you to focus and prepare your life, remove some distractions, get yourself focused in, make sure you're alert, make sure your computer's working right and you're not sitting there trying to kill viruses or read emails. Turn off your phone, turn off your text, turn off your TV, turn off all the distractions, make sure the dog is walked, whatever. And for those 2 hours, list your butt off. You could take 8 hours to list what you could list in those 2 hours if you wanted to, and call it, I worked all day. But you might as well do it in 2 hours, and then the other 6, you can take a couple deep breaths, you can take a walk, you can take pictures at sports events, you can read the newspaper, you can watch The Walking Dead, you can talk to your spouse, you can get a coffee, you can polish your RV for the lifetime trip. Do you see what I'm talking about? You don't need to list for 8 hours. You need to schedule listing time. And when it's listing time, you aren't doing laundry. You aren't buttering toast. You aren't taking care of the centipede problem in the corner of your house. You aren't changing a dirty diaper. You aren't spending 45 minutes gossiping at the water cooler. You're listing 2 hours straight, hardcore, do it. And then the other 6 hours, guess what? You aren't going to know what to do for a little while, but that's why you made your list. Start working on that. Now, this is just one example, right? Do what you should be doing when you should be doing it. And this includes physical, what your hands should be doing, what your feet should be doing, what your mouth and eyes should be doing. And it includes mental, be tuned in. And it includes distractions. Remove them one way or another. Now, I need to hear this as much as anybody else, right? We've got pretty good processors upstairs, all of us people, most of you watching this. We've got these processors, and they work for and against us, okay? And you got to do certain things with them to get them optimized. You got to have a rest day. I prefer Sundays. Spiritual is good. You know, I believe that there's a God that created this universe, and there's a plan, and I'm in it. You may have different beliefs. You got to feed your body some good things so that the processor works pretty good. Exercise is wonderful, obviously. Consult your physician. Consult your nutritionist. Consult whoever you trust on that. But if you can get your processor working good up here, and you can understand that you need to do what you need to do, a high value activity to both free up your time and make yourself some income, then you can take some of that income and you can take some of that time and you can do your list. That is what all these people out here that you see that appear successful and are doing some of these things that you wish you could do, that's part of what they're doing. Woo! That's really it, right? Focused energy on the right things at the right time. It doesn't all come together at once. You know, there may be some light bulbs that are going on today. You might even say, hey dealer, you're all wet, man. I'm going to throw you in a volcano to dry you off. I don't like what you're talking about, dealer. I mean, some of you might be saying that. I mean, I've got some people who are watching who are pretty negative. But if what I'm talking about applies to you, it's not going to happen overnight, but it's certainly not going to happen unless you pull yourself out of your current routine enough and try a few things different, right? Change will either come from you, wherever you are here, or you'll be changed by those and or situations around you. Can't control a lot of those. Although you can control how you react and respond to those, that's a whole nother one. That's a whole nother discussion, reacting versus responding. Attitude, but you need to do some of these things. You know, it's funny. I used to be a pretty negative person, and I used to not want to change. I used to just kind of think, well, I can do whatever I want. And I wasn't even really doing it. It was just subconsciously. I can do whatever I want, and damn the world, damn everybody else. I'm just going to do what I want. But there was a time in my life where I started to look, and when I was pointing all these fingers, I'm going to do what I want. You get away from me. I'm going to do what I want. You better do it too. You know, I'm pointing all these fingers either in my head or just, you know, whatever. And then there's all these fingers pointing back at me, and I realize I need to change some or a lot. Okay, I got to take a couple deep breaths. Man. You know, daylight savings time was last night. We didn't stay as late here. We watched one episode of a TV show, the newest Star Trek, I think it is. Maybe not. I don't know. We're on season 3. It's a guy from Quantum Leap is the captain. I can't think of his name. It's there's all these Star Trek series. I like the original with Captain Kirk. This one takes place right before that. Sort of like when Earth just started launching people out there. So the show is better than the Captain Kirk show from a technology standpoint and all that. It's not quite as corny as the Captain Kirk and the Spock and all that, but it's pretty good. Anyway, we watched one episode of that, and usually we would watch 2 and get out of here about 1 a.m. We went home at midnight. I was already tired. And I think I got 10 hours of sleep. Maybe that's why I'm belting this out today. I feel pretty good, actually. Maybe I should get 10 hours of sleep for a while. I need to add that to my list. Get 10 hours of sleep for a week in a row. Dealer. See how you feel then. You know, I've done that before. I've said, all right, enough is enough. I give in. I'm going to sleep in until I'm done sleeping in, until I'm done doing that. And after a week or two of doing that, sleeping 10 hours a night, I start catching up, and I start waking up automatically in the morning feeling fresh. And then I'm like, okay, now I can take on the world. And then I just beat myself up for 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever. Maybe I'm due for one of those. So, winter's a good time to do that. Who wants to get out when it's cold and windy and sometimes snowy? That's a good time to hibernate, right? I'm going to end it here. I've got to go on with my day. I am the chef and the event coordinator for the food for the Packer party coming up. Most of the kids are going to come here and either watch the game and or eat here and hang out. I know Kate and Noah sometimes do some other things. Noah does some photography. Kate likes to draw all the time. And I think Banana Peeler and Ben like to play some football if there's a game going on with their friends. The little guys most likely hang out with us because the food's here. But they're starting to play outside more with their friends. So pretty soon, I suppose, it'll be just Lon and I and the Packers, the third wheel, the Packers. I might lean over and see if I can get a little nibbling on her. But she usually pushes me off like, I'm watching the Packers. I'm watching the Packers, don't you know? So at that point, I think the beer comes out and I'll have a beer. Cold shower, right? Okay, well, thanks for watching. Different kind of show today, obviously. Why don't we just end it here? You've seen my Packer parties. If you haven't, they're nothing too exciting from a camera aspect. You know, we get the family in. It's a lot of fun for us. It's like, okay, you're sitting around watching a TV. There's the Packers. There's the Colts. There's the pizza. I'm not going to film it today. I'm going to take the rest of the day off from filming. And we will have our daily vlog, our regular vlog tomorrow. I probably will be coming in early. I've got orders galore to pack. I don't think that many orders came in today so far, so maybe everybody got that out of their system. Sure, there'll be a few more. I know there's a few more, but I bet I'll have 40. 40, that's a good number. That's about all I can take. That's the limit. That's near the limit of insanity. I know there's some big ones in there, some special packing. If this subject has hit you and you want to leave a comment, some feedback, question, you can leave that below. I like those. I read those. I can use those for future shows. I typically leave your name and handle out of it, so it's relatively anonymous from that standpoint. I don't make fun of too many people unless they call me creepy. By the way, I moved over to a less creepy chair. I didn't go into my lounger and, you know, lay back, so my wife Alon was making fun of me in my creepy mode. I have to say this. The person who watches that called me creepy said I'm no longer creepy. So we're done with that, okay? I'm not trying to belabor that whole thing. But anyway, if you want to leave a comment, question, feedback on that, great. I do like a thumbs up. We have been grabbing more subscribers lately. Welcome to new subscribers. I appreciate everybody watching. And we'll just keep this thing rolling. Tomorrow will be a new day. Pick well and list often. Dealer from the Crazy Picker Life out of here.
Hey, Wheeler. Dealer Production.